Hello and welcome to the June meeting of the EPEC research team. We are excited to have a number of updates, not that all of them are exceptionally positive, but they all are movement, and we will get to where we need to get to um, in order. Maybe not short order, but we will get there in order. So I'll jump right into it. The first piece that we want to bring up today is the IRB. Um, we received the OPTN data set. The OPTN was able to provide us a, a transplant center specific uh, accounting for all of the transplants. I told them it's just easier if you just give me everything and I will parse through it in SPSS as opposed to them trying to chop it down and me having to come and ask for something a little bit later. Um, Now, within the IRB application, we said that I would not view that data, that we would get an honest broker from the CCTS of UIC to go in and blind the data, assign a specific indicator to each one of the transplant centers, and then email each one of the transplant center physicians what your indicator is so that when we're sharing data, you know who you are, but nobody else knows who you are. So as soon as I got that data, I reached out to Rohit Vinam, who was the CCTS uh, person that was assigned to us to be the honest broker. Turns out he's leaving UIC. So um, there was too much work on that because he has to blind all of the different worksheets, not just one. There was too much work there for him to do it and send it back to me um, before he left. So now I have to wait for the the CCTS to assign us a new honest broker who will bring here and indoctrinate after I tell him a little bit about the project. Um, but Rohith was project staff for the IRB. So now we have to amend our IRB application so that so that the new person can touch this data and then send that data to me. So we have the data, we just can't look at it for a little while. But again, it'll get done in order. I did talk to Brian Bacon about the subcontracts. Apparently, when he submitted them to UIC, they balked because the subcontracts were for each individual transplant center and didn't have a person attached to it. So each one of the um, administrative people that you guys gave us, we put them as the contact, but they want a physician to be attached to it. So I gave him each one of your individual names to attach to your organization, and the subcontracts will be resubmitted. Um, so this is just a subcontract so that we can um, pay you guys. There is question amongst the UIC finance staff as to whether we need a separate contract to use the logo, the individual logos for each one of your organizations for the flyer. So again, there's a flyer that we want to put in each one of the dialysis facilities, and we don't want it to just have UIC on it because people who don't want to go to UIC may look at that and say, that's not what I want to do. So we want to use all of them, and they don't want to intermingle that business with the dollars and cents business. So I'm asking, if we can't make it one contract, can we at least send the two contracts together in companion so that this doesn't end up being a stepwise approach? And they said no. So yeah, we will try to get that subcontract done first so that you guys are paid and subcontracted under that IRB approval from UIC, and then we'll go back and do a separate contract for the use of the name, image, likeness. 3, participant identification update. I have a meeting with associates in nephrology and with um, NANI. I can't remember what NANI stands for. With those two nephrology groups, they both sounded positive when I talked to them originally, but we'll see what they can do and what they can't do. But the ball is rolling with Fresenius and DaVita. I talked to Will from DaVita and Ben from Fresenius. They've both submitted the project internally um, for a review. However, that review is just a preliminary. If they come back and say, yes, this is something that we want to do, then we might have to go and submit a full project request or whatever they call it. It's not a separate IRB, but apparently it's just as rigorous to get through their approval process for what they're calling real research. So I will continue to get updates from them, and I will let you guys know what the feedback was from AIN and Nani as soon as I hear back. And the OPTN update I've already given as part of the IRB update. I was going to go through a review of the timeline, but as you can see, there's a lot of delays that are going on now. I figured the timeline's gonna have to change. It really doesn't make sense to go through the timeline right now. I am still hopeful that we'll be able to get started with recruitment. It was always supposed to be late summer, early fall. I was always pushing for late summer, but it might be more early fall at this point. Um, but we already have to ramp down our expectations on how many people we're going to get if we're not going to do direct participant recruitment. So I have a meeting with the CMS, the grant holders, next week on Monday to give them a number, though it's going to be completely, we're recording. It is going to be our best guess estimation of what our possible recruitment will be, because we still don't have any formal commitments from NANI, AIN, or the dialysis facilities. But they want a number, and we'll give them a number. Our next big step is to get the questionnaire out to the 6 transplant centers, that will be based on what we learned from the survey and what we've talked about thus far within our first 6 meetings. The survey, on the other hand, we got an update on that. We'll give it to Dr. Sonja to give us an update there.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So with regards to the survey, um, we have quite a few responses. However, um, we're cleaning the survey because there have been bots that have been responding to the survey. And so we're undergoing the process of cleaning the survey. We have, as of today, when I checked for today, there were 3,758 responses to the patient survey, 38 responses to the professional survey. But Dr. Akina, again, we're trying to determine how many of those are bots and how many are actual qualified survey responses. So, um, yeah, we're going through the process to clean. And Ernest, you want to talk about the financial impact of having the bots respond?
Yeah, so we already paid the first 300 responses. Then when Aaron was going through to do the coding to start the thematic analysis, and we realized there's a lot of repeats, there's a lot of responses that took less than 60 seconds to go through a survey that we already verified, probably takes 5 minutes more. Um, and the average age for people who were patients, either ESRD and on dialysis or receiving a transplant or have received a transplant, the average age was like 36. Can't be right. So um, that got us looking deeper, and that's when we saw a lot of responses from Kenya and Nigeria and Japan, Ukraine. Yeah, my network is it's good, but it's not that good. So um, we really need to just clean that data as best as we can and kind of reassess where we are from there,
Mhm.
but have it already paid out. The $3,000 in gift cards, Aaron sent those out already. We feel like it's unfair to people who did take the survey in good faith, thinking, no way 300 people are going to get to it before me. Um, so we want to go through, finish cleaning up everything that we can confirm is a bot, um, and then cross-reference that with the list that we sent out, the list of emails that we sent $10 gift cards to, and however many of those that we already paid to bots, we will go back and take 10 times whatever number of bots we sent it out to and reallocate money from the current budget to pay people who were actual survey um, res- respondents. So if half of them that we paid out were bots, then we're 1,500 plus the administrative expense that they charge. So it's $10 plus $2.95 for each gift card that we send out. So maybe $2,000 in the whole. Um, but there's also the cost of paying everybody to do the data, then realize it's wrong data, then clean up the data. It probably sets us back by about 5,000. Fortunately, the OPTN gave us the information for free. And that's one reason why I didn't ask for them to cut the information down, because if I asked for them to make a custom query for us, it probably would have been about $5,000 more. So it's going to be a little bit more work on the back end, but at least we'll save that $5,000 that we had allocated to pay the OPTN, and we'll reallocate that over to making everybody whole for this little survey mishap. Um, Again, it puts us behind, but it doesn't necessarily put us off kilter. Um, I know Quinn is here. What we realized early, before we ever did any bot cleanup, was that we were looking at like the first 3,000, and out of that 3,000, even with the bots in there, only 10% were from Illinois, or from Cook County. Let me say that, from Cook County. Um, our original target was to get 300 survey responses. So we were at 306. It was perfect. A good number of those bots. These bots are smart, by the way. I don't know if you guys ever had to deal with them, but somehow they figured out we were doing stuff in Chicago, and a lot of the bots picked Chicago as a zip code. Um, but thankfully, we were able to have longitude, latitude data for each one of them that answer, and we could compare the two and see, you say you're from Chicago, but you're actually from Lagos. So, regardless of what happens from here on, we know we don't have enough survey respondents from the Cook County area. Originally, when we got the 3,000 or so, we said, okay, let's slow down. We don't have any money to give anybody else. And we did not have the opportunity to connect with the folks at NKFI where Quinn works. So I said, let's hold off on that until we look at the data. Now that we looked at the data, we absolutely need to find a way to get this out to the NKFI people. So Quinn, is that still an opportunity for us to do so?
It absolutely is.
Okay. I'm gonna get involved here, and whoever it is that needs to talk about this, please put me in contact with them so that we can express the urgency of this, to get it out, and I will make available another pot of $2,000 so that we can offer all of those people a $10 gift card to the first 200 people that respond, knowing that you guys are Illinois specific. There's you know, more to Illinois than Chicago. So hopefully we can get a good 100 out of this from Chicago, if not more. And I want to make sure that there's enough gift cards to go around for whoever responds. So there was a bot detector feature in Qualtrics. Um, it is now on. Okay. So whatever happens from here on out, unless they are exceptionally smart bots, they're smart, but I hope they're not smart enough to get around Qualtrics. Um, we should be able to catch them going forward to make the data a little bit more clean.
And I just want to apologize to this group because the bot detector not being on was an oversight on my part. And so thank you, Ernest and Aaron, for catching that. And we went in and turned it on. So as Ernest said, any surveys coming in now moving forward will have to move through the bot detector.
We're a team. We'll get to where we need to get to. I haven't even touched the provider surveys. We got like 36 back, and I'll go through them. And we didn't offer the $10 gift card for those, so I'm assuming that no bots wanted to do a free survey. Um, but we'll go through that data and see what it looks like. It was, the right thing to do if you're going to send out a patient survey, to send out a physician survey. But you guys are really the expertise for us in terms of what we want to put into the questionnaire that we want to get out. I don't want to make any promises on when that questionnaire to the 6 transplant centers is gonna go out. I certainly have some hopes, but it really depends on how long it takes for us to get good data from the survey and from NKFI, whatever surveys we can get from them to push this over the finish line. So yeah, that's life, people. And all of my friends who've known me for all this time and told me, Ernest, run away from being a PI. Why didn't you tell me it was like this? You could have told me. We will do the good work. That's a lot of information. Are there any questions? Hearing none. That's my update. And I'm not gonna try to go through any more of this until I have good data to share with you guys and make good use of your time. So I will give you back an hour of your day, and I'll probably take it again at some point. But for now, thank you. And apparently Cleo wants to go out for a walk. Okay, right on time. If you guys have any questions for me, especially those who view this on YouTube later, you know my email. Please reach out, and I will be happy to provide any clarification necessary.